Acid Base here with Andrew. So I'm Alex with Acid Base. Waiting for Hector. I'm a truck driver now. I got my CDL. Gotta try it. Mexican Coke in a bottle. So we arrived to Airbnb number 2. I didn't set up the mics at all. Airbnb in Monterey. This is actually just like enough.
2 men. 2 paths.
So we're gonna miss the bike cutoff.
1 mission.
The open water is a beast.
1 unforgettable story.
20 minutes out from the start of Ironman.
I'm having some regrets here, man. Dude, I want a better bike. Oh! Ah, there's one, but...
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Asset Based Podcast. We missed the show last week, but we got a double header this week in the recruiting space for logistics. Without further ado, let's just hop right. With only minimal struggling to get everything aligned how it's supposed to be. What's going on, everybody? How are you guys doing?
Alex, what's up? Good to see you, bud.
Yeah, good to have you guys back on the show, especially you, Valerie, and Ryan. Thanks for joining us this time.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
I want to kind of get into this with everybody here. What was your guys' first jobs in logistics? And then take us through a brief timeline to catch us up to your obviously getting into Logitalent.
Absolutely. So my first job, 2005, I graduated from UI in May, and I joined Command Transportation in July. A lot of you probably know the Command story. Paul Loeb, who's founded American Backhaulers with Jeff Silver. This was his second go-around. Built an amazing company at Command, which eventually sold to Echo. But I started off as a customer sales rep. Did my whole training in Hot Pod for the first 3 months. And the first 5 years of my career was a top-performing customer rep, averaging about 130,000, 140,000 GP a month for my first 5 years. So that's how I got into the space.
Yeah, it's definitely not a small number, and 5 years definitely not a little bit of time to be in the ops role.
Yeah, a little bit.
Go on, Valerie, catch us back up. I know you've already been on the show, but just for anybody who might be tuning in for the first time, take us through your logistics journey, and then we'll get into the meat and potatoes of today's show.
Yep. So I fell into logistics, as many people do. I wanted out of retail and had a friend that was recruiting for Blue Grace Logistics. So I started there in 2016. I was a sales rep, customer facing for about 4 years. My book was not as large as Ryan's. I was topping out at about 60,000, 70,000 in GP. And then they changed the commission plan. I didn't like it. And so I had a 2-year ironclad non-compete. So I adjacently came back to logistics on the recruiting side now. So.
Yeah, I guess you, like others in the industry, I won't name the names, but I'm sure we all knew who we're talking about, ended up basically in the same story as him. And now you guys are happy recruiting and don't even want to go back into to the previous life, eh?
100%. No looking back, only forward, Alex.
Yeah, that's why the rear view mirror is smaller than the windshield. Been living by that one.
100%.
Take us through the story of Logitalent briefly. I mean, just like when did it start? How long you guys been in business? Just before we get into some more.
Yeah, so we just had our 10-year anniversary recently. So Logitalent was started 10 years ago. The original founder was my father, Bill, who a lot of people know from LinkedIn. Bill Paul's kind of a legend on LinkedIn.
I've been following his pictures and stories and everything.
Yeah. So it was actually my dad's second go around in the recruiting business. He sold his first one, went back to run a large freight forwarder in Chicago, but he started Logitalent and really wanted to be, an outlet for people to go find amazing talent that the gaps that their internal talent teams or their own networks weren't finding. Shortly after he started, I started off just as an actual recruiter. No ownership, no leadership, no team. I started off recruiting, and I only did placements for freight forwarding and national freight forwarding sales reps. Once that started taking off, and I really knew I enjoyed the recruiting side, which I told my dad for years I'd never get into. I started poking my head around my network of people, former Command people, former Coyote people that were in my network for the past 12, 14 years. And did a lot of digging, reached out to Paul Loeb, who I already mentioned, but talked to Paul. And Paul said, Ryan, he goes, you are a perfect recruiter. You understand the space. You love it, but you don't love moving freight. You're a connector. You love people. You've got a big social side to you. He goes, if you don't do it, you're failing already. So that's all I needed to hear. From there, I started reaching out to a lot of my former Command employees that now they had owned their own brokerages at this point, or were running brokerages either from a C-suite, SVP, hiring manager level. And I was basically going out there hustling, going out saying, hey, I haven't done brokerage placements. I understand this. This is what we have. Here's Logi's track record. And I was doing like small flat fees. I mean, the fees were, we look back at it now, the fees were laughable. Like my recruiters wouldn't even say what I was doing them for back then. But, 10 years ago.
I feel that, man. I've taken some deals when I started out in the media space, man.
10 years
I look
ago,
back on it.
I had to prove myself, right? And, the first month we went live, landed 3 clients all through the network, did 6 successful placements. And then the fees started going up. And I told these people, I said, hey, you're getting a friends and family discount for the first 1 or 2 placements. Once I prove to you what we have, we need to bump the fees up. And again, that's worked. And the business keeps growing. The fees do keep going up. But the work we do backs it up. And the fees really become nominal. But that's kind of the history of Logitalent, and we've got 2 sides of the company. Bill's team of 9 recruiters does everything international freight forwarding. My team does all domestic truck brokerage, some asset based, a little bit on the shipper side. And then we've added a 3rd team headed up by a woman named Althea Roberts Fenton, who came over from Market, which is a life science delivery company owned by UPS. So now we are in the life sciences logistics space, which is, logistics and freight is already niche. This is very, very niche. But you think about all the different.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, for anybody who.
Great examples if you go back to COVID, right? And look at like how many shipments of things had to happen so fast, things can really boom, and it's all obviously very time critical, time sensitive. Some of these are life or death matters, and it's very time sensitive freight. So that's the 3rd division we launched this year, and we're looking to really grow that big in 2026.
Cool. What is Logitalent in 1 sentence? I figure this is a pretty good way to segue us into the more in-depth questions here.
What is Logitalent in 1 sentence? It is it's the premier recruiting company to partner with growth-minded freight brokerages that want to help people succeed and further their lives.
There you go. That's actually a solid answer. What pain is Logitalent built to solve?
I'll turn over to Val. Val's all ready to go.
We are the bridge that helps brokerages, obtain A+ top tier talent so that they can further drive revenue and keep logistics and shipments moving across the nation and globe.
Yeah,
we all know hiring is something that, great organizations get their hiring right. Good organizations sometimes get their hiring right. Other times they fail. And poor organizations don't get the hiring right. It's so critical. The wrong hire, whether you use a firm or not, will cost you so much money in the long run, from time spent on actual salaries, benefits, employee training, dedicated resources to that person or people. The wrong hire sets you back so far. And not every company is going to nail every hire, but what you want to do is maximize the number of great hires and minimize the number of wrong hires.
Yeah, my current boss actually said to me something funny like a month or two ago. We had to let somebody go, and he's like, I won't remember you by your losses, just by your wins. I'm like, all right, like, that's
There you
just
go.
kind
Then
of like
just keep
stuck in
stacking
my
the
head.
scoreboard, right?
Yeah, you got a lot more wins than losses, but sometimes things do happen in hiring.
Absolutely.
Who should stay in the W-2 role, and who should be exploring the 1099 role when it comes to, I mean, that's a hot topic on LinkedIn. Everybody that's in W-2 is basically being told you need to become an agent at pretty much every step of the way once they hit a certain number of GP. Or, I mean, if you guys want to take us through that, who should be kind of not listening to that advice if we want to reverse the question a little
Yeah,
bit?
we'll let Val start, and then I'll follow up on that.
Yeah, so I think coming into the space completely green, I mean, sure, you could try the agent model, but I think the W-2 model would be best for someone just trying to get into the industry because, when you think of an agent 1099, you're thinking you're on your own island, you're remote, doing your own thing under your own little LLC. But on the W-2 side, you need to be in an office. You need to be picking up the energy from the mentors and the most successful reps in that company. You need to learn each and every department from operations to customer facing sales, the whole gamut. Once you have a good knowledge base and a little bit more success coming in and you feel more confident, then I think it's acceptable to flip to the 1099 side. What do you say, Ryan?
I agree 100%. I think if we look at the most obvious flip from W-2 to agent, anyone who's in a cradle to grave role as a W-2 with 3 years plus experience, unless you really, really believe in the company and look at the upward mobility you want to get into leadership, if you are looking to be a true sales hunter in your cradle to grave, you at very least need to explore the agent opportunity. If it's not for somebody, they realize it's not, but every single cradle to grave broker should explore the agent model. On top of that, I think very hungry W-2 hunters that have a very entrepreneurial mindset, but don't want to go start their own brokerage. Because let's be honest, I think you need at least 5 million with probably another credit line of 5 million to build a good brokerage and scale. I've had many good friends try and fail. Val's got people in our network that we know that are great at what they do, but they've started their own brokerage. However, if they went the agent route and if they had $50,000 book, they grew into 60, 70 by month 6, 100,000, they're making 70,000 with little to no risk, right?
Yeah. I think that's a really solid point, man.
Yeah, if you start your own brokerage, every time you move a truck, you've got to pay your carriers fast to keep them moving for you. We know the market's not great, so carriers need money as fast as they've ever needed, and they're going to work with companies that pay them fast. And the people that want to go build something on their own but don't want to take the risk, they look at the market, but they're like, hey, I know how to sell. I can get business. I can even move it. I can bring my own operators with me. Explore the agent route. Like it's made for people like that. One thing I want to bring up is Val's got a unique approach where agent recruiters at companies, some of the agencies, and we don't have a lot of competition, but some of the agencies that might dabble in agent recruiting are looking, typically the first place they go is to look to pull an agent from another agent program. But Val, give us some of the interesting ones. And I know we have a candidate that's been successfully placed. I think the first month she did 93,000, then 104, and like 114,000 last month. So that's month 3. She's never had a title that indicates she's a hunter or a seller. But Val, what's that role, and where do you look outside of the normal places to go find killer agents that fly under the radar?
Yeah, I mean, I've found success with pulling people from the shipper side, people that were operations managers that you would never, like Ryan said, see it in their title, that they would actually have business of that magnitude. It's really just convincing them you can do this. You've got the freight, you've got the customer relationships. Now take the plunge and actually go explore the agent life. So this one agent that he's talking about, she had done every position underneath the sun, from the shipper side, operations, account management, carrier sales manager, leadership, right? And her relationships with these customers go back decades. And I had to work on her for an entire year. I'm like, why are you not doing this? And she gave me every excuse under the sun of why that was just crazy, until finally the light bulb went off and she said, okay, fine, I'm ready. put me in.
Val,
And
correct me if I'm wrong. What month 2, her earnings were more than what her W-2 salary was for the year?
oh yeah,
After 2 months. So for the next 10 months, she's literally playing with house money and stacking it up, laughing it all the way to the bank.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the thing, right? So the industry has sort of normalized this whole, oh, if you have some freight, you should be an agent right away. I think you touched on a good point there, right? Where it's like you should maybe explore the agent model, but starting your own brokerage is a big ask, or starting your own carrier company is a big ask. So obviously agent life makes more sense. You know, you can move with speed, you can move with somebody else's reputation that they've built and kind of the confidence that their name has built, and you get to move your freight under it. So I think that's something that doesn't get talked about enough, right? Because everybody's like, go be your own boss, go do your own thing. But nobody ever really says like, go start your own brokerage, right?
I would actually, and I've said this for the past 2 years, and a lot of my highly respected freight friends, things like the last 2 years, I would advise everyone against starting their own brokerage right now. Like, don't because you probably get fucking kicked in the teeth. You'll probably fail. And there will be some good brokers. I've got a couple buddies that have some new things going that are exciting that I would bet my money that they'll succeed, but they are the outliers and not the norm.
Yeah, no, for sure.
and I'll say too, on the recruiting side, I consider myself an agent, quote unquote, right? I'm 1099, I'm a contractor, 100% commission. I would have failed if I came to Logi without a substantial amount of logistics recruiting experience right out of the gate, because it takes time to build an empire. It doesn't just happen overnight. So I needed to fail. I needed to learn a lot of lessons. I needed mentorship, and I needed to grow my network to get to where I'm at today for this to actually work.
Well, this time last year, how many followers did you have on LinkedIn? Was it just shy of 7,000 or just over 7?
It was just over 7,000.
And where are you at now?
I'm over 21,000.
So you've 3x'd your LinkedIn network in a year, already having had your own network, but now you're in the spot where people come to you, whether it's candidates coming to you, companies wanting to work with us coming to you, because that network has expanded, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing goes for a freight agent, right? Like, expand your network. And I think a lot of shippers are seeing that, sure, you might get some great service on enterprise level from some of these, top 10 brokerages, right? But if you look at all these mid-sized mom and pops, or even large companies that fly under the radar that aren't Fortune 500, Fortune 1000, but ship a ton of freight and have a high freight spend, they're getting exceptional service from the agents they work with, because the agent's lifeline and paycheck depends on it, right? They can't afford to screw up over and over again, or even once sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's something that a lot of people in hiring need to understand. Like, a lot of people that own these companies that are hiring people, I should say, that ramp up period you mentioned, like 60 to 90 days is pretty standard. I mean, I've been involved with a lot of hiring for us lately. And I mean, like, people will come in, they're there 5, 10, 15 days. And I have people coming to me like, oh, there maybe they're not going to work out. I'm like, guys, it's been, 10 days. You're comparing people to people that have been here 2 years. You're comparing people to people that are comfortable with the system and comfortable with the work environment. I mean, that 90-day ramp-up period is something that most logistics companies should expect from anybody.
Yeah, and I think 90 days, regardless of the experience, you can see if they're trending in the right direction. Because I'll pull the example. If you bring a high-level enterprise seller and what they sell as enterprise, depending on what time of the year you get them and where bid cycles are, where their clients are at, what the market's like, eventually they'll kill it for you, but it might not be in the first 90. It might take 180, might take 6-7 months, but they're doing all the right things, and they have the connections, they get the meetings, they get the right conversations, they include the right leadership or experts from the company to really sell what that company can do well and the solutions they bring. But yeah, it's not like, hey, we love Val, we're giving the freight overnight. Doesn't always happen that way. Rarely happens that way.
Yeah, I mean, companies need to have some normal expectations, like you said. Especially, you can see that they're doing the right things, and they always say, one phone call can change your life. That's always somebody posts that pretty much every Friday or every Monday. They're like, that one last dial could be like the dial that changes everything. Like, that's like
I've posted it multiple times over the years. Yeah. That handshake, that phone call, talking to the random stranger at the airport lounge, like, you never know. I was playing golf with a client yesterday, and the two people we were paired up with, the family owns a liquor distribution company. They ship truckloads everywhere. They do containers. And he's like, guess what I do? I ship freight.
Yeah, you never know where you'll bump into somebody. And I mean, let's get back on track here. We got 13 questions to go through. We're on question number 4 of that. So
All right.
let's go non-solicit versus non-compete and freight. What's reasonable?
Non-solicit, okay. Non-compete, I think it's inhumane. Ryan?
Yeah.
I swear, I think it's complete bullshit.
Just
No,
straight
not
up.
non-solicit. Yeah, don't be shady. Don't go try to recruit your former friends. Don't use proprietary company info or things that were are privy to only that company that you've signed agreements on. But if you own the relationship with the person who has the freight, you've built that trust, you've saved them, you've bailed them out, you've given them all the service they could ask for, and they know that you'll go above and beyond for them. They're working with you. They're not working with the logo.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty solid advice. I mean, I don't know. There was somebody that made the argument to me. I can't remember who it was. It might have been Hopkins, to be honest, at this point. It's I don't know. I really don't know who said it, but somebody said, like, imagine you hire somebody that has no like logistics experience, and then you teach them everything, you invest that time into them, and then they leave after 7 months for a better job. And that's why non-compete should be there. And that was like the one time that I ever thought about it. I was like, that's kind of fair. But
Well, here's an example I love, and Val's heard this from people on my team. Let's look at professional sports, right? We've got free agency. So say you are LeBron, you're playing for Cleveland, you decide you want to go to Miami. What if they're like, you can't play basketball anymore for 2 years? Right?
I've seen
In
that.
what world would that work, right? Like, let's look at the tech world. Okay, you're a rising star at PayPal, now you have the PayPal Mafia. If they all couldn't go work in tech, how many of these amazing companies wouldn't have been built?
Yeah. When you take it in that context,
Learning freight is not proprietary info. There's something like 16 or 18,000 registered brokers. You can probably hop on ChatGPT and put yourself through a course outside of moving the freight to get an understanding of what you do. And there is a lot of value that companies put into the training, but it doesn't mean they own you.
So I'll kind of put 2 questions together with this one. It would be, what does real support look like? And to kind of elaborate on that would be, what do brokerages need to do to support agents that are coming on with them?
Great question. Ryan, you want to take the lead?
I can take the lead. I was going to give it to you because I feel like I'm talking the whole time, but no, I can take the lead. So what does real support look like? There's not a cookie cutter answer for real support, but it means from a personal level, like let's look at sellers in a freight organization. From a personal level, support means that you've got a team behind you. You've got superiors, you've got bosses, you've got VPs, you've got owners that believe in what you do and will let you go do what you do best. Support also means that they will have you, they'll challenge you to prove why you're doing something differently or why something you're doing works. And then real support is, hey, I want to go sell my tail off, right? I'm going to go out, knock down doors, bring on a ton of business. Real support means that from the time you're going to land the client, you've got proper onboarding calls. As you land the client, the SOPs are in place and they're ironclad. You've got the right operational support from, if we look at split model, carrier support, account managers, operators. If we're looking at cradle to grave, the right pod team is built around you. So the right support will scale up as your business grows, and the seller will not be able to outpace the support. Because there's nothing worse than going out and selling, closing new business if your operations, your carrier team, and your leadership can't help you keep the business, right?
Yeah. And I think a good tech stack too, if you're running on ancient archaic systems, then that's not going to do anybody any good. And also having good credit, paying your carriers on time.
Huge one.
Yeah.
I got this good one for you guys. So I'm part of the AS400 club. So I've actually been a guy that had to use AS400 at one point. Have you guys ever encountered that? Have you guys ever encountered a brokerage that came to you and said, hey, can you hire for us? And then they were like using something like that old or like something like in that, like that type of.
Yeah. I mean, I know of a really well-known brokerage. I won't talk about the name, but I've seen and heard their tech is about 7 or 8 years behind where they say it is and where it should be. People get there and like things are on spreadsheets and it's like, it keeps going. But yeah, I mean, I hear a lot
7 or 8 years is not 25 years. I could deal with 7 or 8 years.
Yeah, but to be honest, I do hear of a lot of companies that are behind on the tech, and then a lot of times we are pleasantly surprised with some of our smaller clients that are so far ahead of where you'd think they'd be on the tech.
What do you guys hear from your clients, or like I guess people that you place, or I mean your guys' opinion basically from your experiences? What are some of the top like TMSs or like just some of the top tech in the tech stacks that agents sort of gravitate to?
Val,
I hope I say this right. Is it Revenova? Is that
Revenova,
Yeah, Revenova.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Revenova is one of them. Obviously, for the carrier vetting, having strong tools on that side, whether it's carrier 411, highway. Yeah, for the compliance side of it as well. Having good sourcing tools, whether that's Zoom Info or LinkedIn Recruiter, Navigator. I mean, there's a million out there. I thought what's this? There's more AI generated ones now too. Is it Apollo?
Yeah, Apollo is one of them.
Apollo, yeah.
Do you guys ever hear of freight agents asking you guys for dialers? So, like, I ended up somehow in a really weird LinkedIn place of like Irish people that make cold calls. Like, I ended up in a really different LinkedIn network at one point.
My grandma was from Dublin, and that's a tough accent to understand. So
yeah.
I don't know how Irish people making cold calls to the U.S. would go if they'd even understand the accent at the beginning.
Yeah, you got to follow Tony Brophy, man. He just exploded randomly on LinkedIn. And I mean, anyways, long story short, I ended up interviewing a guy that started like a dialer and like a cold call list verifier. I think it was like called Titan X was one of them. I mean, you guys ever hear people in freight like asking for those dialers where they can just dial like 1,000 numbers at once? Because I feel like we don't even use that tech.
I would say I don't, and I think gone are the days. I know in 05 we used to just pound the phones all day long, literally. But I do not think that brokers, whether the W-2 agents, whatever, are just ripping hundreds of calls a day anymore. I think they're a lot more strategic, and the reason is there's so much information they can go get, right? Whether it's Zoom Info, LinkedIn, chat, just the internet. Like you can go pull a lot of info so you can really
make an educated phone call.
Educated, targeted call.
900 people.
And let's not, Bill always talks about this, but a lot of people confuse, productivity with activity, right? Just busy work. What's the point of busy work? I mean, if Val can make 3 placements a week, 3 placements a month, whatever the goal is, like I don't need her to show that she talked to 200 candidates a day. Go talk to 10 good ones, 5 amazing ones, right? Like, let's go increase the odds of success, on the recruiting or on the brokerage side. Like, cool. Like, a young kid might think they're putting in so much effort. They're pounding the phones, banging their head against the wall, and they're getting no results. It's like, as a manager, you've got to pull that person aside and look at their approach and say, hey, I can tell you're a hard worker. You put in the effort, but let's hone your craft and make your calls meaningful.
Let's give you a scope to that gun so we can stop shooting at the wall or something.
Yeah.
No, I think like the whole KPI game, right? Like I think if I went back 5 years to when I started in logistics, and if I sat down at that same desk when I sat down on day one, and I know everything that I know now, I would have walked out of that room within the first 3 seconds of being there. Because it's like you're gonna take people that, like you said, work hard and are happy to be there and want to learn and have great work ethic, and then you're just gonna like destroy them with like, you need to hit this target of whatever it is, gross for the truck or calls for brokerage, or you're gonna like set these rules to people that just kind of cripple their creativity and cripple their ability to actually perform. Like you said, I could make 1 phone call today and it could give me more results than I made 700 like, let's call it shitty phone calls for what it is, right? Yeah. So I think the companies definitely need to work on this whole KPI.
Yeah, I think the scoreboard, your 1 win is way better than 700 losses, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be mad. Like,
did that guy work harder than you? Sure, he did. Did he get better results? Absolutely not.
Yeah, like, sure, I'll be mad if I hire somebody and I see that they've made like 3 phone calls in 7 days and have no results and send like 1 email. Like, sure, I'll be mad, but like that's reasonable, right? But telling people that they have to make X amount of dials or X amount of this or X amount of that to work in your company is just
Val and I, we've talked recently about a candidate pretty extensively that was let go as a top performer because they weren't adding enough new logos. But hey, what about all the business they have that they're keeping, that they're growing, that the margin's going up, right? We're making more margin dollars. We're making more money for the company. But, oh, sorry, I didn't add enough new logos for you.
Yeah, that's brutal. That's actually probably the stupidest thing I've ever heard. On the topic of stupidest thing I've ever heard, what are some of the kind of like misconceptions that are spread through the industry regarding like recruiting, recruiters, going to 1099 versus W2? Like, what are some of the kind of craziest things you guys have seen about your part of this industry?
The craziest thing I've seen is the guy that used to work for me. I won't say his name, but he's basically copied Alex Hormozzi's playbook and says how he makes like 30, 40, 50,000 a month and works like 4 hours a week. But I do not know one client or one company out there that's ever had a successful placement from this man. But he somehow sells these packages to some people like upfront for like $10,000. He can't be selling many, but I mean, to me, that's crazy because he was with me for 5 months and did not make one placement.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty brutal. What about you, Val?
What did I just see the other day? You actually tagged me in it. Who was charging for agents like $25,000?
Matt Dahl posted that somebody, and I talked to Dahl about this, somebody called them up and said, I have agents, $1 million plus book of business, but it's $25,000 upfront fee to see who the agents are.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, so you pay 25 grand to get the guy's phone number and you still have to try to hire them?
So that's how it sounded.
That's how it sounds to me. That sounds absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, but no, it was Matt Dahl posted and tagged me, and I was like, in what world?
I mean, as far as we go, those are two.
On the flip side, if you knew the agent was a slam dunk, that's a great fee to pay for $1 million GP. But again, like this person who I don't know who they are claimed to have like 4 or 5 of these agents ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, I would just get 5 of my friends.
If you have,
I would just get 5 of my friends, and I would make 25 grand.
If you have these $1 million agents, why are you settling for a fee that's lower than what you should be getting paid for an agent, anyways? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would want 1% of their gross.
I called 1,000,000% bullshit on that.
And what drives me bonkers in the recruiting industry is you'll see me posting on LinkedIn. I've got this job. If you're qualified, send me your resume, working my network, right? And I'll get these random staffing companies that will email me, hey, I saw you post about this. I've got a bunch of great candidates for you. Can I show them to you? And we can do like a split fee agreement or something to that nature. And it's like, if you have the candidates, why are you coming to me? If they're such gold, go find the clients yourself. It doesn't make sense. No, please go away.
If you have those candidates, there are tons of companies out there that would love to work with a recruiter that had these.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's one of the craziest.
Another one that bothers me, and it's always bothered me, are resume brokers, like recruiters that will have like very surface level conversations and get resumes and blast them out to keep the ownership per their contract.
That's dirty.
It's not even recruiting. I mean, it's just, but stuff like that gives recruiters a bad name. Or other staffing firms. I hear this all the time from clients and friends. Companies that they've given a chance one off. The placement doesn't land, and then they just don't do the backfill per the contract and just basically give them the finger and say, deal with it.
That's terrible too.
That happens way too often. And things like that do give recruiting a bad name. However, there are firms like Logitalent and others that I respect. I won't name them, but they know who they are.
Just to clarify, the backfill is in your guys' industry is like what? When you place somebody, they don't work out, and you're supposed to give them for that same fee somebody else?
Yeah, so if a person, and let's use a sales hunter, right? Say $90K base, 3-month guarantee. If they don't work out, we backfill that role with somebody who's going to work out.
No, I just wanted to clarify. I mean, I've never heard that term, and I'm sure somebody who's going to watch this.
We literally, if somebody is, it doesn't matter what the role is, we will replace that role. So
I used to backfill holes every day when I was a plumber. That's just went to my head that way. So.
Yeah, different.
Yeah. Yeah. Same, but different.
I'm the kind of guy that tries to hang a picture on the wall and rip a 4-foot hole in my wall.
Yeah, I only know how to change drain pipes outside of your house and sometimes in your basement, like the main drains. Like jackhammer, angle grinder, I can't hang a picture. I moved to Europe and my walls are now all like cement, so I know even less about how to hang a picture now. But what are some red flags, just before we get into some fun stuff here and we're starting to wrap this up, what are some red flags that possible people like wanting to swap W2 to 1099 and they're getting hit up in their LinkedIn DMs nonstop by some recruiters? What are some like instant red flags that they should watch out for and maybe kind of not continue conversations with people when they see things like this?
Val.
Oh God, where to
Just trying to
begin?
protect our community. You know, what's some like
Yes.
protection advice here for the people?
For the candidates, you're saying red
Yeah,
flags?
like if they just get in like some type of a DM from some type of a recruiter, what are some things that should be like instant red flags that should start to like sound some alarm bells? You know?
Yeah. Well, I did just have a candidate come to me the other day saying, without even having the interview yet, a recruiter wanted them to apply, and in the application, they had to put in their social security number. Don't do that.
Oh, without.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Another one,
that's just like general life advice.
Yeah.
Another one, and it's twofold, because if you are talking to an agency about joining them as an agent, and you want to see what accounts are available, make sure that they sign an NDA if you're going to share accounts. If anyone's asking you to share accounts before an NDA or whatever, ask you accounts for your contacts with, whether your volumes are, where they ship, like don't give that information out. You can say, I deal with textile industry, oil and gas, solar. I do 500 loads a month, 400 are drive-in, 100 are flatbed. My average margin is 14%. I do 95,000 margin a month, but don't get into details unless you have stuff signed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe don't tell them I move 900 Home Depot loads out of this exact.
Pick up here. I do here. I've got drop trailers.
Here's all my rate cards.
here.
Please don't call my shipper without me joining it.
Yes.
I'd say too. Oh, I think Ryan froze. Oh, there you are. Okay. If you're choosing a recruiter, look at their tenure, look at their network. What are they posting on LinkedIn? Is it good content? Are they, non-existent? Do you see that this recruiter has been at like 10 different jobs within the last 2 years? Those should be red flags to you as well. Okay. Unless they were a contract recruiter and that was their thing where they were, taking these short contracts.
Anyone who's touched up their own personal picture and it looks obviously AI, stay away from them as well.
Yeah,
there's somebody
I've seen. I've seen one, and I'm pretty like I still don't know what to think about it. I don't know if they're AI or not. I mean, like at this point, it's been like 3 years of following this like situation, and they've never like posted a normal looking picture. So I mean, I'm pretty sure it's AI.
Yeah.
I don't like AI, man. We're getting.
Yeah, I mean, and here, like, I get it. We live in a world where everyone's like likes, comments, views, but like, again, like if you've got to put like a touched up AI version of yourself out there, you're already not even being, authentic and real, right? So if you've got to hide who you are, don't work with that person.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty solid advice. Let's start wrapping this up, man. What was I gonna say to you guys? All right, I want to get into some fun stuff here. Let's go with, if recruiters had CB radios like truck drivers, what would your guys' CB handles be?
Ooh.
RP23.
All right, you got to elaborate, man. It's just like
initials and 23 is Jordan's the GOAT. Real simple.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, simple.
Mine would probably be .222.
Well, what's with you in this dot? I had to go make a thumbnail for this, and it was like I was just going through your guys' LinkedIn pictures, and I saw that picture with like the dot sweater, and I just didn't read. Like,
the dot story is great. It was actually on a trip last year to Austin. We're going to visit a potential client back then, and a few of us were out there. But I'll let Val tell a story because it's actually great considering she works in logistics.
I'm directionally challenged, and I had the GPS walking directions on my phone. We were trying to get to this cafe or bar. I can't remember which. It doesn't matter.
I might have had a couple drinks. But still, very early in the night. It wasn't late yet.
Yeah, no, this was just me being me. And
right after we ate dinner. Yeah.
Yeah. And we just kept getting lost. And then we realized, it took them a minute, but they realized we just kept going in a circle. And I'm like, because I was trying to follow the dot to get us there, but that's when they had to. They took his cousin went away from me. He was like, "Val, you are the dot."
Sean Ray looks at Val and says, "Val, you are the dot, mate."
Yeah, you are the dot, mate.
Oh my god! All right, yeah, that's you being.
Hey, but if you want a job selling freight, Val's the best. Just don't ask her for directions anyway.
Just don't ask.
Yeah, that was
or don't invite her to the city for meetings or dinners or anything, and ask her to park her car.
Yeah.
That was like when I went to have coffee with a dispatcher the other day, and like he couldn't find me, and I had just sent him like the Google Maps location. I was like, "How are you a dispatcher? Like, where are your trucks? How are your trucks getting to anywhere, bro? Like, you can't even find a coffee shop." Like, all right, if recruiters could get detention, what would you guys be getting detention for?
So if I could earn detention, it would be for revamping candidates' resumes. That takes a lot of time. They should be doing the work.
That's a
Happy
good
to,
one.
happy
That's
to do it when it makes sense and I really like them, but I should start charging a fee for that.
Yeah, you should get detention on revamping resumes. I won't even lie.
Mine's a no-brainer for me. When our team's working on roles and, hey, we want to hire a new carrier sales director, carrier sales manager, and then like 3-4 weeks into the search, they've interviewed people, they like people, they move people to the next round. They're like, oh, the role's on hold for right now. And not because they've hired somebody else, they've literally just put the whole role on hold.
Yeah, that's brutal.
So
I mean, yeah, you guys, those are both detention situations that I would.
You're giving people that you're like, hey, we love these people, and then you don't hire because you're like, oh, roles on hold.
Yeah, I mean, those both deserve detention. If you guys
makes you want to put a partial retainer up front. Say, put it on hold. You already paid me $10K. Fine.
I won't even lie. With Carrier Defender, we take all payments up front. It's all 100% refundable if we don't solve the case. But like, this is trucking, and I'm not chasing you around for the fee. Like, if I help you, like, I don't want to have to chase you down for the money. Like, it just has to be like that sometimes. If you guys could swap spots with any of your candidates, which role in ops would you like to go back to? Would it be carrier sales, dispatch? Like, what role in operations in trucking would you guys have to choose if you had to go back?
I wouldn't do it, but if I did, I would go back to selling straight sales,
straight brokerage.
I would go agent.
Yeah.
Same. I was going to say it would have to be sales. I don't want to be in the operations side of it. Yeah. I just want to be out there hunting and bringing in new business.
Yeah.
So you guys would just be sales. You wouldn't even book your own freight.
That wants to scale, and I would take a chief strategy, chief sales officer role, and really help them scale, knowing they've got the resources and funding behind them.
But I will say this is really important because we're seeing a shift in the agency world where we now have asset-based and non-asset-based agent clients that will take 1099 agents, but they just want them to sell, and they will give them very strong operation support. Normally, when you think of a freight broker agent, you think cradle to grave. So yeah. I love to see this new kind of mix come into play.
So it's really an agent role for a true hunter. Like, hey, Val's great at closing business. Let's not have her sit in the weeds and book the trucks. Let's have her get more freight.
No, yeah, we actually offer that in our company too, and I thought that was like such a good strategy, right? Because you have a guy that comes in, or a girl or whatever, a person that comes in and they're crazy at sales, and you let them just keep selling, and their freight gets moved by our team that already knows how to move freight perfectly. So it's like a win-win situation for somebody that just wants to keep selling and doesn't want to have to, like you said, sit in the weeds. And I mean, like, not to diminish obviously the work of like dispatchers and carrier sales and all this kind of stuff, but that's like much easier type of things to learn. That's like much more repeatable. It's much more I mean, I don't know what the word is I'm trying to find here. It's repetitive, like it's the same thing.
You can build a playbook to become a great operator, right? As a seller, every situation you go into sell into, they're always different. Even ones that are very similar, same industry, same types of clients, the whole situation from start to finish will be different. It plays out differently every single time.
Yeah, I'm not diminishing. I mean, I was a dispatcher for years. Like, that's a hard job. I'm not saying in any way that those things are easy. They're just much more, similar. It's much more.
You can build a lot of processes around your day to day. Where sales, you can have processes in your sales cycle, but your day to day is different every single day when you're selling.
Yeah, of course. For you guys, which one feels better, closing a placement or landing 40 loads a week when you were brokering?
Closing a placement.
Closing a placement.
Oh, okay, that wasn't even okay. What about like
40 potential problems?
Yeah, I just sat with somebody. I can't remember who I was talking to, man. I think it was one of my update guys. I sat with him for a coffee. I was like, "Oh, like, how was your day?" After his shift, he goes, "Man, I had 30 loads and 35 problems." I'm like, Jesus Christ. So last one here. We got Ryan. If you could make one rule for all candidates in logistics, what would it be?
If I could make one rule for all candidates in logistics, know your history and know your numbers like the back of your hand, and have them ready to go at any point in the interview process from the first time you talk to the recruiter all the way to landing the job.
What about you, Val? I actually want to hear. That's actually a sick question. Like,
I would say know what you want to do. Stop saying, oh, I can do it all. I can do anything. I'm up for anything. Be focused, be strategic. And it kind of like he said, going back to knowing your numbers frontwards and backwards, know exactly what you want to do and be intentional.
there you go. I got 2 questions left for you guys. One for you and one for my personal interests. It's gonna be, if a freight agent DMs you today, what happens next in the Logitalent process?
Yeah.
If they DM me, I hop on a call with them immediately, get to know them, qualify them, find out what their non-negotiables are, what their book looks like. And then from there, I take them over to my clients that are going to pair well with their experience and their mode mix, set up an interview. And then usually that's the beauty about the agents. We can close that in same day. It's just such a quicker process than the W-2 side.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. That's how it kind of goes. I mean, answering the phone at 8 p.m. for a potential agent signing has to feel a lot better than answering at 8 p.m. because they don't have a pickup number or the shipper just rejected the truck. I feel like those late night calls are a lot more chill when you're in like a recruiting situation.
They can be. There's been some crazy ones after hours, but yeah, generally speaking.
I mean, yeah, I remember
really crazy ones after hours. Yeah.
I remember doing driver recruiting, and like the worst part of driver recruiting is that the phone call is either 30 seconds or 30 hours, and there's like zero in between. Like driver recruiting.
Hey, I added that question. I saw someone in the comments, which I love, and they put stop inflating your numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a huge one because your numbers and what you're talking about that's going to set the baseline and the expectations of what the company who is looking to hire you or hire you expects you to do, right? So be a straight shooter. Don't sandbag it either, but talk realistically. And if you have $100,000 book of business currently, but you're at a big box broker that that 50,000 is going to stay in because it's dedicated for the operation is so tied in. Say, I've got 100,000, 50 of that, I control the relationship of that. This is what I think can move in the first 30, 60, 90, 6 months, 1 year, and then add on what you go to expect to sell on top, right? Because, if you can talk the talk, somebody, in a good market, not in a great market, obviously right now, but like people will get into bidding wars to overpay for talent, but this person will be out of a job in 6, 8, 10 weeks because they promise the world and they don't, and they might bring a little bit, right? But that little bit would have kept the job if they didn't get a base that was 50% more than what they should have been paid.
Oh yeah, under promise, over deliver. But like you said, don't super under promise because then you might not get.
You might not get the job.
You might not get the deal you want.
Be realistic. Be realistic and be confident. Know your numbers.
You guys have any closing thoughts here? Any kind of things that you would want to say to the audience before we get into my final question and the end of the show?
I would say Q4 is traditionally, at least in my experience when I was a freight broker, that's one of the hottest quarters. And if you already know that your company is about to restructure the commissions, that's what happened to me, or there are things that you don't like and you're flirting with the idea of exploring new options, you need to contact us now before those Q1 bids come out so we can have a home ready to go for you for the next year.
100%. And to add to that, if your company, if there are rumors about the company getting acquired, if merging, things getting rolled up, if you're on the sales side and you are uncertain or a lot of the news you believe is probably true, I know I've known of multiple companies that have already gone through acquisitions. I know of more that I've heard that will be going through. Look and see what else is out there. The company will protect themselves. And if they can make a bunch of money or get out of the red, they have to sell. Look at how that might impact your business and your career, because again, you need to sell to make money, put food on the table, do whatever you need to do in life.
I mean, I've heard those weird misconceptions where people are scared to talk to recruiters because they think the recruiters will tell their company and get them fired, which I'm sure that has happened. I'm sure that does happen. Obviously, I wouldn't bring people onto my show that I would even suspect would think to do something like that. But
I mean, it would really be detrimental to a staffing firm to do that. It's like you need to build the utmost trust in candidates.
Yeah.
To like go out and like tell their company. It would be weird that you'd have a relationship that high level that you could tell someone anyways, and then you'd be recruiting from them. Like everything
It
about
would also
that,
be weird that your company's 10 years old and you've done stuff like that, because that obviously wouldn't happen. Like it just takes one of those to ruin a company. So.
Yeah.
I tell candidates what I tell my children every day: snitches get stitches.
Yeah, I mean, basically, my point of all of this before we got into like a crazy situation was that people should have a conversation with you guys, or as some form of recruiting people, right? Because it doesn't hurt to have a conversation. It doesn't hurt to, like that's your guys' job, right? Your guys are in that niche where it's like, I want to have a conversation with you so you guys can do your job and start looking for stuff, right? And there's no harm in doing that. I don't like those time wasters. I hear people like, oh, I really want to move companies. I'm down. Thank you guys. And then they just disappear. Like, because that's not cool. But like to be honest up front and say, hey, I'm a little worried. Can you guys look around for me? Or like, this is what it is. I think people are like worried to do stuff like that because they might find.
Well, what about people who might be killing it with their numbers, but their compensation or commission program doesn't add up? It's like, okay, bet on yourself and go explore. Like you owe it to yourself. If you've hit the top threshold, or you know you can't really make any more money, the commission plan's not beneficial for you to keep growing, go see who's going to pay you more to do your job and do it better.
Yeah, I think I read something, some type of article about something like that, where like job hopping back in the day was like frowned upon, and now it's like most people won't give you a raise, but like if you job hop, you'll usually keep getting a raise. So I mean, the culture has really changed. Like, I mean, people have worked. I have a watch. I bought a watch sometime a few years back, and I looked on the back of it. It was like a 40-year anniversary of somebody working at like the railway company. That was like their gift. Yeah. And it kind of like every time I look at that watch, it kind of like reminds me that like people used to work in one company for their whole life. Like that was just how it was at a certain point in time, and it's just not like that anymore.
Yeah, the one thing I would add to that, though, if you are, a seasoned seller, you've been selling for years, the job hoppiness should make anyone question it, because how do you keep building your book of business, making more money if you're starting over or moving your business around from company to company? Like we want to see longer stints. I'm okay with seeing some shorter stints at the beginning of someone's sales career, but I want to see them hit their stride. Or I can also say if somebody has a good run at the beginning and then has a couple jobs and you're looking at maybe they were figuring it out, or they left a great brokerage, but they were, way too far down the totem pole, went to some company and they were sold the dream and the company wasn't what it was. Okay. But like, that can't be the story of your resume for 10 years.
Have you guys seen the film of Family Man? Because that gave people a bad perception of how headhunters really operate. I'm going to watch that tonight. I've never seen it.
Is that the movie with Nicolas Cage?
I have not seen it, but I'm going to watch it tonight.
I guess all three of us have some homework to do tonight and watch a film related to today's podcast. But that's it for our show.
A glass of red wine, done.
That's going to be it for our show today. I have one final question, and John Rogers actually made the post. I've been doing this for months on the podcast. It's always the last question of the show, but he made a post the other day. I gave my answers to the question, and somebody said that's their nightmare chicken wing order. So when you guys eat chicken wings, are you drums or flats?
Flats, ranch.
Flats.
Okay. Is it blue cheese or ranch on the dipping sauce?
Ranch.
Yeah, it depends on my mood. I like both. I don't want to choose.
I mean, you have to pick one.
Okay, fine. Ranch.
Okay. Breaded. Yeah, okay, fine. The wrong answer. Are we going breaded or non-breaded on the wings?
Non-breaded.
Non-breaded.
All right, you guys are 0 for 3, both of you. I mean, you have the same answers, so it's just how good. I'm complete opposite on all three, and
you're the outlier. Your drumsticks fried.
Yeah, breaded drums with blue cheese dipping.
Yeah.
At least you're not eating chicken nuggets.
Hey, I had so the other day I went to go buy meat at the grocery store, and they were doing some type of counting the items kind of thing. I mean, it was 1 a.m. I mean, that's just kind of how it works when you go at 1 a.m. But I ended up eating dinosaur chicken nuggets, which I found in Serbia, which made me laugh because I didn't think I had that here. But I did.
The 5-year-old eats them here. She loves them.
Yeah. I felt like a kid, man. I'm sitting here eating like dinosaur nuggets out of the air fryer. But on that bombshell,
what even come with the 5-year-old? Dino nuggets.
On that bombshell, thank you guys for joining me. Thank you for being a part of the recruiting week here. And I mean, yeah, just keep doing what you guys are doing. And I wish you guys all the best.
Awesome. Thanks for having us, Alex.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
That's going to wrap up Acid Base Podcast for today. I don't know where I am, why I'm not on the screen. I'm sure maybe you can hear me. Oh, maybe, yep. That's going to be the end of today's show. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. And that's it. I mean, we'll see you guys Friday when we head up another recruiting company and we do this all over again. So take it easy. Acid Base here with Andrew. So I'm Alex with Acid Base. Waiting for Hector. I'm a truck driver now. I got my CDL. Gotta try it. Mexican Coke in a bottle. So we arrived to Airbnb number 2. I didn't set up the mics at all. Airbnb in Monterey.